afternoon, Mr. Sedili.
Afternoon, Ma.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
Council, can we proceed?
Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Commissioners. Mr. Witness, how are you?
I'm fine.
Can you please give us your full name?
My name is Ibrahim Asedili.
And your address?
Jara Bureng.
Jara Bureng.
Bureng, yes.
What is your educational background, sir?
I did my primary school at Bureng Lower Basic School.
And please speak louder, sir.
I did my lower basic at Bureng Lower Basic School.
Yes.
And then junior secondary also in Bureng. I proceeded to senior secondary school in Mindao. From there, I went to Gambia College, where I did HTC, major in general science and agriculture. And then I also went to GPPI, Gambia Public Procurement Institute, to study public procurement. And I'm currently on my SIP course, CIPS at MDI.
What is your current occupation?
Excuse me?
Your current occupation?
A procurement assistant.
Where?
At Mansakonko Area Council.
When were you employed?
I was employed in 2019.
2019?
Yes.
And since then you have been the procurement assistant?
Yes.
Who is the procurement officer?
Mr. Baba Tarawale.
Is he still the procurement officer?
Yes, sir.
Now, can you just tell us the environment in Mansakonko Area Council? How do you conduct your procurement activities? The procedures you follow?
Okay.
And the decision-making process?
Yeah, first it starts with like need assessment. If there is a need for something, the user department, the need department will raise a request to the CEO's office. If that is if that is done, the CEO will minute it to finance. If there are funds for it and it is budgeted for it, then it will be minuted back to the CEO that funds are available for this and is budgeted. Then it will be minuted to the procurement unit.
Yes, and then?
And then procurement starts.
I didn't hear you mention anything about contracts committee, for example. Why? Is that because there are no contracts committee at Mansakonko Area Council?
Of course there is. We have contract committee.
What would be the role of the contracts committee?
The contract committee will also sit over contracts, most especially the contracts that are of high value. For example, most of the time will be RFQs.
Will be what?
RFQs.
RFQs?
Yes.
Request for quotation?
Exactly.
Now, you made a statement, is it correct? You gave a statement to the investigators.
Yes, sir.
If I show you your statement, will you be able to recognize it?
Yes, sir.
Please have a look at this document. Can you please advise us whether that is the statement that you gave? You can read through it.
Yes, that is mine.
Do you wish that the statement and its contents be tendered to the Commission and serving evidence, for forming evidence before this Commission?
Yes. I just want to make one changes on the statement.
You just want to what?
One changes.
And what is that?
That is the great point.
The
great point.
The great point.
At the time the investigation team came, at the time I was not having my appointment letter with me. So I told them it was around 7 point, but when I confirmed it, it was 8.1, not
so
7.1.
That is the second paragraph.
Yes, exactly.
Where you were stated that I stand, procurement assistant on grade 7.1.
Exactly.
You were saying it should be
8.1.
8.1.
Yes, sir.
Right? You can put it on the you can write that on top of the 7.1 and then you sign against it. Yes, can we now have it, please? Is that all?
Yes, for now.
We apply to tender the statement of the witness, Ibrahima Sedili, dated the 16th of October 2023, into evidence as an exhibit.
The witness statement of Ibrahima Sedili, dated the 16th of October 2023, is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/ES/MKAC/001.
As the commission pleases. Now, tell us, who are the members of the contracts committee in Massaconco Area Council?
At which time exactly, please?
2019?
At the time I came,
Yes.
the CEO was part of the contract committee,
Right?
the finance director,
Okay.
the procurement officer,
Yes.
and some of the councillors. Can I mention their name, please?
Do you have their names?
I can remember some of them.
Can you tell us, please?
Almamo AKCC was part of the contract committee.
Okay.
Mfama Rashedikan was part of it too.
Yes.
Sira Sabali was part of it.
Go ahead.
Osman Sow was part of it.
Yes.
Bakar Fadera was part of it. These are the ones I can remember.
How about in 2020?
In 2020,
Yes.
in
Did the
2020,
list change?
it would be the same. It
Twen-
changed recently.
Recently?
Yeah,
Wh-
because
when will that be? Which year?
initially it was the two committees were amalgamated. That is the development committee and then the contract committee.
Right.
I wouldn't know why exactly because I found that there.
Was
But-
that? Go ahead, sir.
We were advised by the Ministry of Lands and Regional Government to split them, and that was the time we split them. And that was recent. That
Was there? Is there any time that? Was there any time that the chairman was part of the contracts committee?
chairman?
Yes.
Chairman of the council?
Yes.
No, I can't remember that.
You can't recall that.
No.
Now, let's just briefly discuss the 2019, the procurement review, the GPPA procurement review, the compliance review for the year ended 21st December 2019.
Okay, sir.
Have you had a chance to see the review?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, on page 7, do you have it?
It's not with me here.
It's not with you.
Yes, sir.
You will realize that in Massaconco Area Council, there were no open tenders, no open national tender or national tender.
Yes, sir.
All you had at the time, in relation to the procurement method, was single sourcing 495, the number of single sourcing that you have done in 2019. The value would be $2,280,996.64 bottles. Request for quotation, RFQ, 10, and the value would be 486,850. Why would that be the case? Why would you not, at any point in time, engage in tendering processes?
Maybe there is no need for that.
Why would that be? Why would that be the case?
It depends on the kind of procurement you are doing.
Okay. Tell us, please. Can you please educate us more as to?
Like if you are buying vehicles,
Yes.
that will be in millions, so it will fall in the threshold of tendering.
Yes.
So these ones, maybe most of them falls within RFQ and single sourcing, and that is why.
That is why for all the procurement there was no single tendering done.
Yes,
Is that your understanding
That's
of
my
the
understanding.
procurement process?
yes, that's my understanding.
So, but then you realize that in 2019 that was the case, in 2020 that was the case, in 2021 all the way to 2022 as well. There were no tendering done,
Yes, there was no tendering done.
and you still maintain the fact that there was no need for tendering throughout the years.
Like most of the time, like when it comes to borehole drillings,
Yes.
Sometimes the amounts will go above 500,000,
Yes.
which falls under tendering.
Yes.
But most of the time, they are not very far from 500,000. They are close to 500,000. So
Yes.
if you want to open them, open tender, most of the time, it will be like advertisement cost, and then perhaps you have to, when you are doing the advertisement, that has to last for about 30 days.
Yes.
And then you also need to give the briefing, like when you have already awarded your contract, you give chance to the other suppliers that we are not lucky to also look at it, because you notify them. They will go through the notification. If they have any query, they can also make that. So the time it takes and then the amount of money involved, that is why most of the time we do it RFQ. We do RFQ for those kind of transactions.
Are you saying for all the contracts you had awarded in all these years since 2019, there was no need to do any tendering?
Not all of them are above the threshold of RFQ.
No, I'm just, the question I asked and your answer is different. For all the awards that you had given,
Yes.
from 2019 to date,
Yes.
you were saying there was no need for open tender. The most suitable process would be RFQ and single source.
Exactly.
So when you awarded the rice, the delivery of rice and oil, the amount was more than $500,000 to Newaso. Was that also not, was the best process RFQ as well?
That came at a time of emergency also.
Was the best process RFQ and not
Yes.
to tender it?
Yes.
The boreholes, when you awarded the boreholes as well,
Yes.
the same thing. You maintain the same answer,
Yes, sir.
right? We'll now go through this in the specifics very soon. But on page 10, with respect to your non-compliance, chapter 3, the GPA found that there were non-compliance in relation to your procurement processes. Number one, the accounting officer, there was no formal appointment of the contracts committee members. Was that true?
Maybe. I'm not aware.
You're not aware
Yes.
that the accounting officer did not ensure that some prior approval was sought for GPA in some tenders. Or was that true? That you will not seek for prior approval before you go ahead with the awards?
With certain contracts, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
Well, why will that be the case?
Like for the case of the rice that was bought from Nemasu,
Yes.
it came at a time of emergency.
No, generally, why will you award contracts prior to approval? Generally.
In most cases, we do.
In most cases you do, but in
Yes.
some cases you don't.
Yes.
Is there a procurement plan in Massapequa Area Council
Yes.
for 2019,
Yes.
2020,
Yes.
2021?
Yes.
Do you have copies of this procurement plan?
Most of those documents were with the commission.
Where were they?
Commission here. We've
Do
sent
you
them
have
here.
copies? Do you have copies of the procurement plans for these years?
No, not with me right now.
Now, on page 12, in relation to your responsibility to submit reports to the authority,
Yes.
are these being followed?
Yes,
Monthly reports?
Yes, sir.
Now, the non-compliance for 2019 states that the SPU does not prepare and submit to the authority reports as required under the Act and regulation. What is your response to that?
In 2019.
Yes. I mean, it's all over the years. From 2019, the findings will be general. You realize that the practice that you guys have in the Massaconquer Area Council will transcend beyond 2019 all the way to 2022.
Well, I came in September 2019.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yes, maybe before September. But the time I came in, I do prepare monthly reports.
You do prepare monthly reports.
Exactly.
How do you prepare monthly reports?
Based on the monthly transactions.
And how do you send them?
At first, at 2019, I
Yes.
physically take them to their branch we have in Farafenye.
Yes.
Yes, I do take it there every month.
So you put it in an envelope and you address it to the branch in Farafenye.
Yes.
Do you have copies of the monthly returns that you have sent to GPPA?
Yes, I might have some of them.
You might have some of them.
Yes.
But what will that mean? You will have to have the records, would you?
Yes.
From which year to which year?
I might not remember exactly because
Yes.
that branch in Farafenni is no more working. So currently they open an email where we usually send our monthly reports to.
In 2019, did you prepare any?
Yes, I do prepare them and send them to GPP.
Where are the copies for 2019?
That ones, they might not be with me here, but I have those ones.
2020?
Yes, maybe 2020 also.
I want to be clear whether you have the copies.
Yes, I cannot remember exactly whether it was 2020 that we start sending it via email or end of 2019.
No, either the copies or the ones you have sent through email.
Yes, I have all of them though.
Can you avail us copies of these, all the monthly returns that you have sent to GPA? Can you do that?
Yes, I can.
Now, let me start with, let me move to 2020, 2021, since for the most part of 2019 you were not present.
Yes.
Would that be correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, for 2020 report as well, if you look at the table, there were about 505 transactions, which represents the total number of transactions that you had done in Massachusetts Area Council. But there was no tendering as well done. Why was that the case?
Like I particular transaction my fault in.
So are you saying for 2020, 2021, the threshold was always below $500,000?
Yeah, most of them.
I mean, all.
All of them?
I'm asking whether all of them were below $500,000 as far as you're concerned.
I don't remember exactly because there were a lot of transactions in 2020.
Do you not recall any transactions you have done in 2020 or 2021 that was above $500,000?
It's possible, but maybe when I see it, I will remember it.
But you had already given me an example with respect to the rice supply for the COVID.
That was in 2020?
I asked you. You tell me.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes.
I'm asking if that was in 2020.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The amount was $601,500.
Yes.
Yes. Would that not be above the threshold?
Yes, that's above the threshold.
Exactly. So why would that not be subjected to a proper bidding process?
Proper bidding?
Yes.
Like I said before, because of the amount, Like if you want to include the advertisement fees and then all other things, that was the time that people need that particular item the most, because it came at a time of emergency. So if you want to tender it, it has to take 30 days before the tender process is done. That is the advertisement. So when you identify your supplier, meaning when you award the contract, you also have to wait for another 10 days before the contractor sign the contract. So it means it has to take up to 40 days, and that is emergency.
Did you get approval?
No, we did not take any approval.
Why is that? So for all you are saying is your own justification in your own head. As far as you're concerned, you and the people who made the decision, as far as you're concerned, that will be a justification. That is fair and good. But were you given approval by the relevant authority?
No, we don't have approval.
So you're just here telling me stories. But you know you are supposed to have an approval if you have to depart from the actual process that you're supposed to use. Is that not the case?
Yes, we need.
You have been trained in procurement, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
You did the course with GPPA, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
You know that the thresholds are there, but apparently if you are supposed to do a tender and you want to depart from that based on whatsoever reason, you want to do single sourcing and it's way above the threshold, you have to have approval. This is something that you know.
Yes, sir. It's supposed to be like in case of emergency.
Yes.
You can have approval, but
Yes.
that is like
Yes.
post approval.
Yes. Let's assume it was an emergency, there was a need to do it, there was only one supplier, all the requirements are met. Have you gotten approval before you depart from the preferred process, which is bidding?
No, sir.
Open tender.
No.
Why would that be the case? What was the environment that would warrant you, the procurement unit and the area council, not to follow the due process?
Just the fact that it was emergency and then we were in a rush.
But don't tell me that. We had already discussed the idea that you know you are not a lay person in procurement. Or are you a lay person in procurement, sir?
No, sir.
What is the process? What will be the process? What is the ideal process? What were you taught at GPPA that you were supposed to do if a case of emergency arises? Or let's say there's only one supplier who's an expert in this area. You have met all the exceptions. What was the process to follow?
As far as this one is concerned, the process should be, we should go in for post approval.
Okay. Did
Yes,
you do that?
Which we didn't.
And why is that? Why did you not go for post approval before you subject public funds to unilateral decisions?
Well, this was a contract committee decision, not my own.
Do you have minutes of the contracts committee?
Not with me here.
Do you have it? Are there minutes of the contracts committee making this decision?
This particular transaction?
Yes.
Yes, the contract committee meets.
Were there minutes to evidence that?
Yes, minutes were produced.
Did you see the minutes?
No, not myself.
Were you present
Yes, I was present there.
in the meeting?
Yes, because like COVID time, there were so many meetings. So
Were you present?
I might not remember whether this particular transaction I was there.
You do not recall whether you had taken part in the decision making?
This particular transaction?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, so we will come to that as well. For 2020, there was 446 single sourcing. The amount is $25,959,162 buttons. All was single sourced. RFQ, 22 transactions, $4,961,155. For 2021, 436 single sourcing transactions. The amount is $1,469,800.23 buttons. And 4 transactions for RFQ. The total value is $162,000. So for the year 2020, you had spent $30,920,156.62 buttons. And for 2021, the amount we have seen on the record is just $1,631,820.23 buttons. All not subjected to competition. So you at the area council were just deciding that you will award contracts, commit public funds without competition. Do you know why there is a need to have competition?
Yes, sir.
What is the importance of having an open competition?
One, to allow other bidders to take part in the competition.
To what?
To take part in the competition.
Yes, go ahead.
And to achieve value for money.
What is value for money? What do you understand by value for money, sir?
It's to get what you want at a cost-effective manner.
At a cost-effective
manner.
Was that achieved? In all these transactions, can you guarantee that was achieved?
Yes.
You can guarantee that?
Yes, sir.
Without having competition? You had already told us the idea of having competition, the importance is to have value for money. That was your evidence.
Yes. Let me come back to that, please.
Yes.
Not all of them were not subjected to competition.
Okay.
You said some were subjected to RFQ.
Yes.
So which means we allow other bidders also to take part. It was not all single source.
No. You have not followed procedure in all of your awards.
All of them?
All of them. I dare even say one. Not all of them. You do not follow procedure. For most cases, what will happen is either you get the approval after. It's been evidence in the reviews. After you had already awarded the contract, or you disregarded the procedure at all.
So not all of the contracts were above single source, above RFQ. In case of RFQ, where we need to seek for prior or post approval. If the threshold is within the RFQ, we don't need to seek any approval.
Now, the pre-qualification of registration and registration of suppliers, the ones you deal with, the suppliers, are they all registered?
No, not all of them. The suppliers we deal with, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Yes, not all of them registered.
Why is that?
Well, most of those suppliers, they said, they will say like, okay, even if we registered, we will not win any contract.
We will not win?
Any contract.
And so?
Because area council there is the only institution that is following those procedures.
So you award them contracts even though they didn't register with GPA?
They don't register with GPA.
Yes.
Yes, some of them. Not
but
all
why
of
will
them.
you award contracts if the contractors do not register with GPA?
Yeah, some of those items, if you also want to travel to Combos here to buy those ones also, it's more expensive.
Sadie Lee, are you the owner of the area council?
No, sir.
Are you guys the owner of the area council?
No, sir.
Are you not bound by laws and regulations?
Yes, sir.
What would be your job? Why are you employed? Is it not to follow the regulation?
Yes, sir.
So does the regulation say that you should be given awards without the individuals registering with GPA?
No.
So why would you do that? Why would you do that? An example would be, there was an award to one Sadibu Drame. Do you know Sadibu Drame?
Sadibu Drame. I might not remember him.
You procured suspended ceiling with accessories to supplier called Sadibu Drame, who was registered with GPA. The amount is $85,000 above the threshold for single sourcing. What is the threshold for single sourcing?
The threshold of?
The threshold for single sourcing.
It's 30,000 for goods and service.
For goods and service?
For goods and service.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
50,000 for works.
Mr. Serikan, the threshold,
yes.
Is it 30 or 20,000?
Right now, is
it augmented?
Yeah, is it?
Because if I could recollect, I stand to be corrected, it was 20,000. Huh?
It was 20,000 ma,
yes.
And works was 30,000.
Yes.
It was moved to the goods and service were moved to 30,000, and then works for sorry, goods and service is 20,000 and works is 50,000.
Yes, that is
Yes.
the correction I wanted
Yes,
to
ma'am.
make.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, so $85,000 is just way above the threshold.
Yes.
In 2020, you awarded the contract to Sadibu Drame. He didn't register with GPA. Do you recall that?
I might not remember this, sir.
But now I am telling you, it still didn't ring a bell?
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yeah.
And why would that be the case? Number one, it is above single sourcing. Number two, he did not register with GPA. So you have flouted two fundamental rules or requirements.
I mean, I cannot remember this transaction. That's what I'm saying.
It's on the record. You could go and verify. It's on the record.
I'm not denying that.
I know you're not denying. I'm just trying to tell you the 2020 compliance review by GPA.
Yes, sir.
That is only one aspect of the type of procurement that you have done in 2020 in relation to having suppliers that did not register, nor or being above the threshold. Do you follow? Let me just give you some examples as well. There was the procurement of sugar. The amount is $30,000, and the non-compliance issues are there was no minutes of the contracts committee to approve the procurement. There was no delivery receipt to show that the procurement was completed as stipulated. No procurement documentation such as GPA Form 041, 102, 101, and 102. No inspections committee. No detailed specification. No evaluation report. No delivery receipt, and no evaluation criteria. That's why I had said you don't follow any of the rules, the fundamental rules. Even there was no single transaction that you had met all the requirements.
Well, for these other transactions, I cannot remember this one as well.
Office equipments were procured, $32,000. Request for quotation. The non-compliance, the procurement was not specified on the procurement plan, no delivery receipt, no inspections committee, no evaluation report.
Well, we have office equipment in our budget line.
For 2020?
Yes.
Can you show us?
2020.
Yes.
Yes, I'm not having the budget here with me, but I'm sure it is there.
When you come back, you can show us.
Okay.
Now, on page 22 of the 2020, there was a transaction with Nemasu. Do you recall this transaction, sir?
Yes, I remember.
Nemasu Enterprise. Is that Nemasu Enterprise? That
Nemasu, yes.
Enterprise.
Yes.
What was it, the nature of the transaction? Can you tell us, please?
Where we bought rice and oil.
Yes.
Yes, it was also at the time of COVID-19.
Yes.
And we invited tenders to come and then bid, that is suppliers who can supply those goods. And then Nemasu was part of those suppliers who requested to take part in the competition.
Who were the other suppliers that took part in the...
I might not remember that, please.
Okay.
But I know it was not only him.
That's fine. Please proceed.
Yes, so he emerged as the winner of the contract and then he supplies the goods.
Some people said Jar Oil emerged as the favorite to win the award, because in fact it was much more cheaper.
Jar Oil?
Yes. What do you say to that?
Well, I've never remembered Jar Oil's invoice as far as this one is concerned.
You don't remember Jar Oil's invoice?
No.
We will
as far as this particular transaction
is concerned. So who do you remember?
Well, I can remember Nemasu because Nemasu was the one that supplied.
You said others sent.
Yes.
They sent quotations? They said, what did they send?
Quotations.
How many sent quotations?
I don't know, 3 or 4.
Wouldn't you have copies of these quotations?
They would be attached to the vouchers.
To the vouchers?
Yes.
But you don't recall?
I can't remember.
Why was Nemasu the preferred business dealer?
Well, this was the decision of the contract committee.
Which you are part of?
Which I am part of.
So this was your decision. So what was the criteria in deciding that Nemasu would be the...
Well, one of the criteria during the time was the supplier that could supply the quantity we want.
Yes.
And then perhaps also deliver at the time we
the what?
Deliver.
Delivery. How about the amount?
That's what I mean quantity.
That's why you mean quantity. I mean the value.
The price you mean?
The pricing.
Yes, price also is considered.
Was Nemasu was Nemasu the cheapest?
Honestly, I might not remember that until I see the voucher.
So, what was the contract between the area council and Nemasu?
What was it?
The contract. Did you sign a contract?
A formal contract?
Yes.
Well, I will not remember that, honestly.
You will not remember?
I can't
where there was a formal contract signed?
Yes. Honestly, I cannot remember that.
So what was the agreed contract?
The agreement was the invoice he brought.
Yes.
Those were the invoice we took and evaluate them.
Yes.
So when we approve, it means we approve the invoice he brought in. So the purchase order was also drawn based on the same invoice. So
what was Nemasu Enterprise supposed to supply to the area council?
He was supposed to supply rice and oil.
How many bags of rice?
If I could remember, it was 655.
655 bags of rice?
Yes, if I can remember well.
And then oil?
Oil was
414 or?
Yes, 414. Thank you. I think this was 414.
And sugar?
Sugar.
Yes.
Well, the first invoice, the invoice I can remember.
Yes.
Was only oil and then rice.
Was only oil and rice?
Yes.
Where's the Aston register? We want to show the witness the invoice. So, this was the only contract you have had with Nemasu? The 400, the original invoice, dated the 11th of August 2020. Yes, sir? That was the only contract or agreement you had with Nemasu to supply bags of rice, about 655, 414 bags, gallons of oil, and 100 bags of sugar. Was that the only contract you had with him?
That's the one I can remember.
You were there in 2020?
Yes.
You are still in the area council?
Yes, sir.
Have you had any other agreement apart from this one?
Not to my knowledge.
Thank you very much. Because if there were any other agreement, you would have known.
Yes.
Is that not the case?
Yes, sir.
So I will show you the original invoice.
Okay, sir.
Just 1 minute.